In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a mobile green screen, including the fabric, for under $40. But before we get into that, I'm Mr. Welcome back. If you're a returning subscriber, if you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button now for daily uploads of various gaming content. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to be mobile is a clothing rack. As you can see, this is a clothing rack on wheels. So that is mobile straight off the bat. I picked this up from Kmart for $10. So we're into this for $10. The fabric you can see behind me is flannel. I picked up 3 meters of flannel, which is roughly about 10 feet of flannel from the fabric shop. I could have also picked up about 5 feet of blockout curtain. Blockout curtain's a little bit thicker material, but I picked up the flannel. Now, unfortunately, the flannel is not super high. It's only about 3.5 feet high, or a little bit over a meter in width, 1.5 meters to 5 feet long, folded in half. So I've taken my 10 foot or 5 or 3 meters, and I've folded it in half lengthways. Okay, so on top of the clothing rack, I had a piece of tube steel. Now, I already had this lying around, but if you don't have it lying around, you can use a piece of dowel or anything like that, couple bucks from the hardware store. You can even use some plastic coated garden spikes, also only a couple bucks from the hardware store. All you need is something that will be 1.5 meters long. That's all I've got here, which is about 5 feet, a little bit over 5 feet, as long as you've got some kind of a tube. To attach the fabric to the tube, I just used some pegs. That's all I've used. Now, I also, while I'm shooting this video, I have all the external light to the room blocked off, so I'm creating as many shadows as I can, and what I'm doing to counteract the shadows is just using a little thing like this. So you can buy some ring lights, lovely little ring lights, place them on either side of you from AliExpress. I'll leave a link in the description below for those. If you want to pick them up, you certainly can. Now, these things also from the hardware store, couple of bucks. They run on 3 AAA batteries. They don't use a lot of juice. You're not going to use them long unless you're going to be streaming for hours on end. In which case, just until your ring lights come from AliExpress, or if you can buy them else cheaper, you have these little buggers. Now, they are very bright, as you can see. They light up everything. Just a little tiny light. I've got 2 of them, so I can mix and match with these just to get rid of the shadows behind me if I'm not having ambient light coming into the room from another source, to counteract those shadows, and if I'm not doing anything about the shadows above my head. So here we are on BlueStacks. So the first thing we're going to do on the BlueStacks is we're going to go into the camera and we're going to click on filters. So you can also do this through Screencast-O-Matic. It's a slightly different process on Screencast-O-Matic to get the cam to recognize the color behind, but essentially it's the same. So you go on to filters, and generally this window here that you see is really quite a large window. And when you first do it on OBS, I said BlueStacks earlier, but when you first do it on OBS, you will not see the effects filters down. The window will stretch up and all you'll see is the audio filters. You need to compress the window from the top, bring it up like you can see here. Then in the effects filters, when you press to add, you will see chroma key. All right, so once you've pressed onto, well, let's just get that back up again. Filters. Once you've added chroma key, you'll get your options down here below. Now, select color will give you, you can see the color I have here. You can see the color on the screen. You can see the color behind me. They're not a perfect match, the screen versus that. However, when you select the color, you will see a few greens, you'll see some browns, you'll see some blues and so on. You just gradually mix and match to kind of get the color that kind of matches. Then you can play around with this similarity element here. Now at the moment I've got chroma key turned off. I'll just turn it on so you can see that I've got, when I turn it on, I've got this blanket thing behind me, and the parts that you can see that are white, they are the parts that are in shadow. They don't match. Now as you can see, I'm at 134 here, and as I adjust this chroma key thing, you can see how that plays a really big part in determining how close a match am I going to get. So you can see further, I've just put a hole in my head. So we're going to come down, we're going to take it back down to 134, and that's good enough. I just need to deal with the shadows. That's what I need to do. Okay, smoothness, as you can see, again, the smoothness, we're going to talk about that a little bit. So we have a look at that. Let's look, 45. You can still see I've got a bit of a hole in my head. Drop it down, 21. I don't have a hole in my head, and it looks pretty good from there. So, okay, we're slowly color spill reduction. Now I've got that at 1. You can just, now you can see how I'm starting to go black and white, and yeah. Okay, so do have a play around with some of these brightness, contrast, gamma. Have a play with yourself just to see. But basically, this is what you want to be seeing behind you once the chroma key is active. You just want to see this blank piece. Okay, so that represents black on the screen here that you can see. All right, so now you're also going to need to upload an image, because an image will be replacing a chroma key here that you can see. So I have selected an image already, and it's the image of a view out of a window in New York. So as you can see here, I've got that image hidden. I will just show that image, and there we go. So you can look at that and you can say, yes, but mister, I can still see the curtains on the outside, but when I look at people that do this in a full screen, I don't see that. That's fine. We are going to be dealing with that in a second. Now, we've first got to have a look at these shadows behind me. Okay, so we've got this little image. We'll just select that at the moment and make sure that image is good. Okay, so that seems all like it's lined up. So we have to deal with the shadows behind first, and that's where these little buggers come in. If you've got the ring lights on either side coming out, then that's not going to be an issue, because that will get rid of all the shadows. Now I have one over on the right hand side here. We can see that if I turn that on, I've had a reduction in the shadow. Now this one here, I can add to it. You can see how if I turn it around, you can see a little bit of green speckly coming on the fabric, but the shadows at the top disappeared. And depending on the angle, you can see what's happening to the shadows. I can add it to the other light source, or so I have double, whoopsie. If only I can reposition my light. So I've got double light there. If that doesn't work, then what I do is I place it on the floor just to create a little bit of an uplight. Okay, so you can still see, okay, yes, but mister, I still see that. But we're not done yet. This is where we come into the camera controls. So on BlueStacks, or on OBS, what we do is we drag this edge in, we press Alt on the keyboard and we drag it in, and we're essentially cropping the image out. So these pieces outside of what we want, we can crop in, and we can crop that top piece down as well. So, and there we go. The little pieces that I was not able to counteract with just these couple of little lights, I can also bring the green screen behind me. I can bring it further in, I can push it further out, I can play around with its angle depending on the reflection of light, and if I have ambient light coming in from the outside, that works as well. So as you can see, I've cropped, and now all you have is the image. Obviously, if I put this image up in OBS, I am gone. If I bring it down, here I am. Now, once I've done this, I don't need to touch anything other than the mouse. Click on that, and I can resize that. So that is essentially creating a mobile green screen for under 40 bucks. The fabric cost me about $7 or $8 a meter, and I got 3 meters of it. The block out curtain was about $13 a meter, 13, 14. I would have got a meter and a half of that, still would have come to about 21 bucks. So I'm looking at $10 for the thing from Kmart, the mobile stand. I'm looking at, what have I got there? I've got 5 pegs holding that fabric up. If I want, how much does a peg cost? I don't know. If you had to buy a bag of pegs, we're talking $2 or $3 for a bag of pegs. So I've got 21 bucks in material. I've got $10 for the clothes stand. I've got $3 in pegs. So 10, 21, 31, 30. I'm into it for $34. All I need is the piece of tube. I already had the tube, but you can pick up a piece of dowel or something like that. They're only like $2-3 at the supermarket, at the hardware store for $5. Anything as long as it is that length, and I can wheel it around. If I'm not happy with it, we'll just turn off. I'll just make this full screen again so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll turn off the because I adjusted that. This is why we need to do what we're doing here. Okay, just bring that up there. All red lines mean I'm fully adjusted. That is great. We'll turn that off. We're back to my chroma key element. We'll go back into the filters. We'll turn off the chroma key so that you can see what I'll be actually doing now. Okay, so I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to grab the legs behind me, and I'm just going to wheel that in. So now that is so close behind me, you can see where that is. All right, so now if we turn on the chroma key, let's just have a look what happens. Totally black. Okay, so now we can see I'm totally black. I've got a couple little speckly things going on here, but otherwise I'm totally black. So when we turn the image on, no need for cropping. Here I am. And all I did was roll the green screen behind me. As you can see, the fabric, I'm just moving it around. You can't actually see that I'm moving it around. If I turn off that image, just so we go to the filters, if I turn it off so you can actually see what I'm doing with the fabric, so you can see that I was just moving it around like that. So move it back, whatever you want to do with it. Very easy. It's mobile. When you're done, push it back, slide it out of the way. All done. Under $40. No need to go spend hundreds of dollars on Elgato. If I want to go full screen, I just take the fabric, which is 5 feet, and I just lengthen it. I can just let it unfold because I actually got 10 feet, 3 meters, but fold it in half, it's 5 feet. So if I want a higher height beneath me, no problem. If I need to go higher, then it's not really that much of an issue. Just a couple little bits of duct tape or something like that. Again, a couple little poles that you can pick up from the hardware store. Just attach them to the uprights on your clothing rack. That is these uprights here. You attach the poles onto the upright there. Just a bit of duct tape around there. The poles will stick up, and then your cross piece, just some more duct tape. So that is if you want to do it higher. But as you can see, the height above me is, I don't know how high that is above me. If I put this ruler above my head, okay, that ruler is about 1 foot. So it's about a foot over my head as it is now in this proximity to me. So that is it. How to make a green screen, a mobile green screen, for under 40 bucks. And it takes minutes. And when you're done, wheel it out wherever you want to go. Easy peasy. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Now it's your turn to let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for watching.